What made you realize your neighbor was a complete psycho? When I moved into my first apartment, my upstairs neighbor seemed normal, quiet, kept to himself, always said hello in the hallway. But things started getting weird after about a month. First, it was the stomping. Every night at exactly 2 a.m., he would start pacing back and forth above my bedroom. Not just walking, but heavy, deliberate stomps that lasted for exactly 30 minutes. I thought maybe he had insomnia or worked weird hours. Puff. Then came the water. Every time I took a shower, within 2 minutes, the water pressure would drop to nothing. I could hear his shower running directly above mine. At first, I figured it was just bad plumbing in an old building, but it kept happening. Every single time. No matter what time of day I showered, he would somehow know and turn his on immediately. I started testing it, taking showers at random times. 6 a.m., 3 p.m., 11 p.m. Without fail, within 60 seconds, his shower would start. I mentioned it to the landlord, who said the building had separate water systems, and there was no way his usage could affect mine. That's when I got suspicious. I started paying closer attention. The stomping happened directly over wherever I was sleeping. If I moved to the couch, the stomping moved to the living room area above me. The guy was tracking my movements. One Saturday morning, I decided to test something. I played loud music for about 10 minutes, then suddenly turned it off and went completely silent. Within 30 seconds, I heard his door creak open and footsteps in the hallway. He was listening for me. That's when I installed a security camera in my peephole. For 3 days, I recorded him pressing his ear against my door multiple times per day. He would stand there for 5 to 10 minutes at a time, just listening. But the worst part was what I found in my mailbox. Mixed in with my mail were photos. Photos of me leaving for work, coming home, carrying groceries, all taken from his window, looking down at the building entrance. Some had timestamps going back 2 months. The photos weren't just random shots either. He had circled things in red pen. My work schedule, what days I got deliveries, what time I usually got home. One photo had a note written on the back. Always wears blue on Tuesdays. I called the police immediately. They said unless he threatened me directly, there wasn't much they could do about noise complaints and taking photos from his own property. But they agreed to talk to him. 2 hours after the cops left, my apartment started smelling like gas. I called the gas company and they found that someone had loosened the connection to my stove. Just enough for a slow leak, not enough to cause an immediate explosion. The building manager reviewed the security footage from the basement. There was my neighbor, clear as day, entering the basement with tools and going straight to the gas lines that fed my unit. He spent 20 minutes down there, checking multiple times to make sure no one was coming. That night, I packed a bag and stayed at my friend's house. From her couch, I called the police again, this time with video evidence of him tampering with my gas line. They arrested him at 6 a.m. the next morning. Turns out this wasn't his first time. He had been evicted from 3 previous apartments for identical behavior. The landlord knew about his history but needed to fill the unit and figured he wouldn't cause problems if he was on the top floor. When they searched his apartment, they found detailed logs of my daily routine going back to my first day living there. Pages and pages of notes about when I left, when I came home, what I was wearing, who visited me, appearing more photos, including ones taken through my windows from the fire escape that I never knew about. But the most disturbing thing was a notebook where he had written fantasies about what he wanted to do to me. The gas leak was apparently just the beginning of his plan. He had written detailed scenarios about accidents he could cause, electrical fires, water damage, carbon monoxide poisoning. The police found equipment in his closet, wire cutters, chemicals, a small drill he had been using to make tiny holes in the wall between our apartments. That explained how he always knew when I was showering or moving around. He got 2 years for stalking and attempted assault. I broke my lease that same day and moved across town. The landlord tried to keep my security deposit, claiming I didn't give proper notice. I threatened to sue him for knowingly renting to a dangerous tenant and got every penny back plus compensation for my moving costs. Now I always check references and criminal backgrounds before signing anywhere. I also make sure to meet all my neighbors within the first week and trust my gut if something feels off. The scariest part is how normal he seemed for that first month. Just a regular quiet neighbor who always smiled and said hello. He had been planning this whole thing from day one, just waiting for the right moment to escalate.